Hi, this is George in Professor Wellman's CSC 110 Spring 2019 9 a.m. class, and today I'm going to be presenting my final project, the turtle cube. Um, Pretty much, I'm gonna show you guys the final product here and talk about it a little bit. In the turtle module, we want to draw this shape that when you cut it out, you can fold it up and make a cube. And on each face of the cube, we were given a couple patterns, and we needed to make a 4x4 array of each pattern and put it on a different face of the cube. So it was actually three patterns, and you needed to alternate the colors of each pattern. So this is what my final product ends up looking like. As you can see, there's three different patterns. There's this one here in the orange and gray, this one here in the teal and pink, and this one here in the blue and gold. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about how I did that here. So first of all, this is the one and only helper function to the patterns. This is how I made every pattern. It's just with the simple rectangle function that had four arguments there: t, width, height, and color. And also I would start off with the color, and I made the if you do dot color in the turtle module, the first one is going to be the pen color, and the second one is going to be your fill color. So every one of these rectangles had the fill type of function in it, and that's the only difference in this from a basic rectangle function. It's just starts with the begin fill and ends with the end fill, and what that does is just fills in whatever color your rectangle was, whatever color you specified. It fills in your rectangle. So yeah, that's like the workhorse of the entire project. It's just like the backbone. All right, I'm going to go through each pattern. This is pattern E that was given to us, and as you can see, it gets a little crazy with these for loops, but I've made some comments here to kind of help keep track of what's going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the innermost loop and then talk about it and talk about. I'm going to work backwards with you guys. So this is the fourth nested loop, and it's for I in range 3. You draw this rectangle and reposition, and then alternate colors. And so it's pretty much just, it draws it's actually a square. It draws this square right here 3 times, and that's what it does right there. And so it that is like, it starts the perimeter of this square right here. So that's what that is right there. Then in the third nested loop, the third nested loop draws the rest of the perimeter there. So it would draw, and it does that. It goes through that loop 4 times. So it starts off, it draws a 3 there. It makes a turn. It draws another 3, makes a turn, draws another 3, makes a turn, draws another 3. So that's 4 times right there. Second nested loop, it fills in that inner rectangle. It gives that inner square some color, and it's responsible for drawing that same pattern from the third nested loop. It draws that 4 times, and it also alternates the colors again, as you can see there. And then that this last little bit is kind of a little bit of repositioning until we get into our outermost loop, and that's also a little bit we would be going. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Uh, it would draw this four horizontal. It repositions itself, goes all the way back and up, and then draws that line of four again, and it repeats that and does it four times, as you can see there. And in the end, that's what our final pattern looks like. I think my screen is kind of getting cut off in the recording. I'm not sure if you can see the very bottom, but it stops after that, after it finishes off that last one. So it's just the 4x4 array there, and that's pattern E. Then we're going to go to pattern A here. This one, again, with the nested for loops, only has 3, and same thing, I'm going to work from the inside out. So the innermost loop, it draws that first bigger rectangle, and then it draws these 2 smaller ones, and then it actually loops that 4 times, so it draws that, it makes a turn, it draws it that way, makes a turn again, draws it that way, makes a turn again, draws it that way. And then pretty much the rest of that code is just kind of a little bit of repositioning to get in the position to do it again in the second nested loop right here. And what that second nested loop is, it draws that same pattern 4 times in a horizontal line. And then in our outermost loop, positions and draws the horizontal line 4 times vertically. So once again, creates a 4x4 array there. And then here is pattern M, my last pattern. Not as many nested for loops now, so it might be a little bit easier to follow. Once again, working from the inside out, we're going to draw the inner loop. It draws these. Actually, for this one, the reason it's not looped so much is because the inner loop draws each of the 4 rectangles needed. So like that line of code draws that rectangle, this line of code draws that one, and so on and so forth. And then it kind of does it in all those combined. You can kind of see, like, if you look at these 4 rectangles or squares, that's what it draws there combined. But it also loops 4 times, so it ends up drawing that pattern in a line 4 times horizontally, and then the outer loop kind of is, once again, repositions and draws that line of 4 times vertically, so it gives us another 4x4 array. Next little bit of code was some helper functions that help build the outline of the cube. The glue tabs turned out to be pretty tricky as far as like kind of looping to draw that sort of cube. So I actually drew 2 different, I had 2 different helper functions for the glue tabs. One that drew it to the left, like if the turtle was facing to the right, or the 0 degrees in standard turtle notation, it would draw a glue tab to the left, like the turtle would come down this line and turn left and draw the glue tab. And same thing for the right, did that. And what this function pretty much is, this is just some trapezoid basic geometry here. Like this, for this is always going to be, if you were to draw like a 45 triangle here, that all the angles are 45 and 135 with this trapezoid. So if you were to draw a vertical line here, that was the height of the trapezoid. This slanted leg of the trapezoid would always be root 2 times the height, just based off of trigonometry and geometry. And if you can see in most of these functions, it's all going by b, and that is because one of the specifications of the project was to be able to make the whole entire thing scalable based off of one top level function. So everything is based off of b. My parameter b is one size, and then everything is like a dividend of b. So that's how I get all of my sizes there. And this is just a basic square. You're going to see in the next slide how that comes into play. Also had to import that square root from the math module. So then putting it together a little bit, I use that square function and the glue tab to the left to make a square that had the glue tab to the left, and also defined another one that did the same thing to the right. And I've included what that looks like. And that's actually, this code is actually pretty basic. You can kind of see what's going on there. Just combines the two of those. And then putting it all together for the final product, as you can see, I have one top level function. It has T for whatever turtle I'm going to be calling, and B is, once again, that's my size parameter, and 6 colors. And pretty much this is the whole thing. This is what draws the whole cube, and can kind of go through it with you. As you can see, the first few lines of code there is all just all about drawing the outline of the cube. That first line there draws the top face of the cube. That's what we're working with. As you can see, this set H there is that sets the turtle to whatever position it needs to be in. It draws that box right there with the glue tab, as you could see in the previous slide what that function was. And you could see that this one draws the second face. This line of code draws the middle one and leftmost face, and this line of code draws the rightmost face, and this line of code here kind of draws the bottom. I'm kind of working on a time constraint here with the YouTube thing. Have like a minute left. Then the rest is just kind of positioning and drawing using those pattern functions that I showed you earlier, and kind of switching up the colors for them. And I would just call a pattern, reposition to the next next cube face, and call the next pattern, and so on and so forth. So nothing too groundbreaking about that. It was just kind of all a matter of getting the positions right in these lines of code. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the whole project. I'll show you the final product here. Once again, you can kind of look in all and be inspired. And I just want to say thanks for your time and a great class. You've really inspired me to look more into computer science.